हेलो एवरीवन। तो जो आज हम गेम देखने वाले हैं, दैट गेम was played in 1956 between Bobby Fischer and Donald Bryne. अगर आपको पता नहीं है तो दिस गेम इज़ legendary. This game by many greats is regarded as the game of the century. इस गेम में बॉबी फिशर की जो आयु थी, उम्र थी, वो सिर्फ 13 साल के थे। और उस समय जो डोनाल्ड ब्रायन जी की उम्र थी, आई थिंक वो लेट 20s में थे अपने। एंड दिस गेम इज़ जस्ट रिमार्केबल फॉर द शेयर ब्रिलियंस ऑफ बॉबी फिशर। सो लेट्स सी। तो बॉबी इज़ प्लेइंग, रॉबर्ट जेम्स फिशर is playing with the black pieces, and Donald is playing with the white pieces. So Donald opened the game with knight to f3. This is also known as Reti opening. Bobby reply with knight to f6. Then we have pawn to c4, and then we have pawn to g6. Nor this is just very standard opening moves in which white is developing the pieces, and then black simply fianchettos is its bishop. Then it's actually quite a remarkable way of preparing for a fight, because these kind of openings, they are not your simple e4 e5 kind of openings, and most of the time these games lead to extremely tactical combinations. So let's see. उसके बाद डोनाल्ड प्ले इट्स pawn to d4, and Bobby simply castles. Put your king to safety. Very standard move. And then Donald developed the bishop, and Bobby immediately strikes in the center. Very good move. Although the engine put this move slightly questionable, but I think it's okay. And the position here is fairly equal. And then Bobby simply takes the pawn. Donald captures back, and as the game progressed, it feels like nothing much is happening, but something is going to break down. What it is, we will see. The engine recommends black to develop its queen to a5, and the move that was played by Bobby was knight to d7. The engine actually says that it's a mistake, but why? Because this lead for a very sharp attack by the white. You can see white has already now have an advantage of almost 1.0, which is advantage of having a pawn up. And you will see that the rook is aligning in a position with the queen, and if the center would open, it could lead to some surprise attacks. That's why the engine gave this move, knight to d6 move, a question. But what actually happened in the game? So this, and then just wait a second. Okay, this, and then simply this. Donald obviously played the very good move, and then Bobby attacks the queen. A decent move, not that good, but a decent move. And here the thing is the white pieces. White has the control of the center, but the white king is still in the center. It hasn't been castled yet, and we are already on move number 10. And then Bobby pins the knight to the rook. If the knight moves, we will simply capture the rook. So that won't happen. And then Donald attacks the knight. This is not a good move. This is not a good move at all. The engine gives it as a blunder because whenever a piece moves, you have to think it like that, ki what it was doing before. So you see this bishop over here was controlling this diagonal, and this knight was attacking this queen. But when the bishop came here to simply sort of threat, like we would attack the knight and then the bishop could capture the knight back, something Donald missed. What it was, Bobby is going to show us in a very beautiful manner. And this is, let's see again. And this is absolutely brilliant move. It feels like the knight can be captured. This knight is captured, but you see this knight is defending this pawn. Once the knight would capture this knight, this pawn would be hanging, and simply knight could capture the pawn, and it would lead to some sort of very devastating attack, attack against the white king, which obviously Donald realizes. So this knight cannot be captured. It's a poison capturing move. You can't capture it. So simply Donald put the queen back, and Bobby captures the knight. Donald recaptures, and then Bobby captures the pawn. And then Donald captured the pawn on e7, and it feels like that there is a square, like Donald is going to win some material because the bishop cannot be captured by the queen, because the square is also controlled by the white queen. And obviously the bishop is attacking the queen and the rook both at the same time. So what did Bobby do? He simply just uh, remove his queen from the position. Donald, uh, sorry, allowed Donald to capture the rook. Now what could happen here is that this rook can be captured very easily, and once the rook would be captured, you can recapture the bishop. But Donald isn't interested in it. Relatively a decent move, although black have a huge advantage. White is, because first of all, black is just a pawn up. Also, why this advantage is there, because just look at the black pieces. They are highly active, and if you see the white pieces, they all are defending, and there is some sort of lack of coordination between them. So what happened after Donald play bishop to c4, we got another brilliant move by 13-year-old Bobby Fischer. So Bobby Fischer captured the pawn, and it feels like again that this knight can be captured, but it cannot be. And Donald goes for a counter attack. It feels like that there is not much of attack against the white king, but there is. It's hidden under the surface. We have simple check again, because this file is completely open and controlled by the black rook. So we have rook to e8 checking the white king. The king simply moved, and this move, if this game is called the game of the century, then this move is the move of the century. Just look at the beauty of this move. You are allowing the white bishop to capture the white black bishop, but you are letting your queen under attack. You're giving up your queen. You're like, just take it. But this cannot be taken. Why it cannot be taken? Well, there's a beautiful sequence. If you can see, once the bishop would be captured here, the rook would capture the bishop, and you see that the knight is looking at attacking the rook, and also this file is open, and this would not be good for white king. So simply Donald capture the black queen, which again is a mistake, because you take the bishop with a check now, and just look at the pieces. It feels like these three major pieces are against the white king, and the white king is under a huge fire now. So black goes, white king goes in, and there's a tactic in chess which is called windmill, and it forces a opponent's king to move to the only square that is possible, and then you repeat the moves back and forth to capture multiple pieces. What I mean by that is this. So we can see the bishop gave the check to the king. Obviously, the king cannot go up because this file is completely controlled by the black rook. The king moves back, and then we have check. Obviously, the king would comes back, and then we have a discovery. Do it again. Do it again. And now you see. And now this bishop that took the queen was hanging, and now Bobby captured the bishop, and you can see now that the white queen is under attack, the rook is under attack. Obviously, you can also do one thing. It feels like the queen could capture the knight, and you will be okay. But obviously, that also knight cannot be captured because that knight is also defended by the bishop. So just look at the coordination here. It's really, really remarkable. And Bobby Donald just simply moves the queen up. Then we have a rook to a4 attacking the queen. The queen captured the pawn. The knight captured the rook. Very simple. This pawn push is a decent move. It's a because you create this square, a sort of a breathing space for the king, and then in the process, Bobby is just mopping up. He's just cleaning as many hanging pawns as possible, and then another pawn is captured. And now see what is here. He is giving. He's trying to go for a rook trade, Donald, and obviously Bobby accepted it. And then the rook wasn't recaptured back. First a check. The check is blocked, and now the rook is captured by Donald. Decent move, but it's just by the end of it, you can see that you have a queen and a knight versus two bishops, a rook, and a knight. And obviously, you are 3 pawns up as well. So this is just way too much compensation, and black is way too much of material to sort of do have any kind of damage against the opponent's king. And then we have bishop to d5, and obviously this the way that bishop was looking here, it felt like there's some sort of attack, because if the knight would move, this rook and bishop, they both would be seeing the g2 pawn. So this path is blocked by putting the knight to f3. Now we have knight to e4, and queens go up. Queen go to this square, b8 square, to obviously capture these pawns that are hanging. But this feels more like a desperation, and now the final uh, final nail in the coffin. Simple pawn push, and now the white king is in a mating net. You put your king up, so there is absolutely no attack against the black king. The king goes back to g1, and now we have this check. Every piece is looking towards the white king, and it feels like it's not gonna survive. Let's see what happens. Now we have king to f1, and now the engine states it's a mate in 5. First the knight gives a check, and then another check from bishop. The king is now being hunted. Another check, another check, another check, and it's a mate. Just look how beautifully all four pieces coordinated to deliver a mate. The genius of this game is that Bobby Fischer was only 13 years old when this game was played, and in the tournament in which this game was played was not won by Bobby Fischer, neither by Donald, but the brilliancy award of the tournament was given to 13-year-old Robert James Fischer, aka Bobby Fischer. And this game is just full of tactics and just shows how uh, king safety is the most important thing in chess, above material, above anything else. And this game is just full of tactics and beautiful coordination, and that's the reason why this game is considered by many as the game of the century. Thank you.